and they shall be all taught of God. Every man, therefore, that hath heard, and hath learned of the Father, come unto me. Not that any man hath seen the Father, save he which is of God. The world had to wait for the autumn of 1603 to witness those fateful events on this side of the globe. A bitter and tragic episode which left its scars for eternity. Shah Abbas I, heir to Muhammad Khudabande, ascended the throne in the year 1586. He was obsessed with conquering Armenia to avenge his father's defeat by the Ottomans and his retreat from their ancestral realm 3 years before. Meanwhile, the unconditional surrender of people was not enough to appease the black and despotic hearts of the ruthless Ottoman rulers, who remained true to their barbaric ways. For this reason, Armenians surpassed each other in their flight to Iran to take refuge in the warm sanctuary offered the Iranian monarch. Seizing the opportunity in a cold and merciless autumn, and taking great care to remain hidden from prying eyes, Shah Abbas made haste towards Tabriz in 1603. Meanwhile, Ali Pasha, the town's ruler, was engaged in battle with insurgents Qazi Khan, the Salmos governor who had disobeyed the Sultan. After subjugating the town, the Safavid king sped to aid Qazi Khan. He defeated Ali Pasha in Sufyan plains. Thus, his way became open. He marched to Nakhjavan and seized it on a single day. He then set his eyes on the Yerevan fortress and commanded his army towards it. But it took 7 months of relentless battle to break the castle's resistance, and once inside he put everyone to blade and moved up to the Qar's frontier post. When the news of Iranian victories reached Istanbul, Sultan Ahmad immediately mobilized an army under the command of General Jalal Oghli and dispatched it to confront Shah Abbas. The Shah of Iran became aware of the huge Ottoman preparation. He appraised the forces and saw fit not to affront the enemy on one line, so he opted for a scorched land policy and ordered all people living within the territory separating the two countries' borders to be moved towards Iran, in the hope that harsh winter, lack of refuge and food would overcome the foe. This territory was Armenian, with once magnificent monuments, large gardens, huge farms, high sky, and a generous sun. Thus, the fateful event occurred, and the great exodus ordered by Shah Abbas and directed by General Gune Khan began. The army quickly spread to every town and villages, creating a calamitous scene. The ruthless soldiers removed the defenseless people from their houses, beating and pushing them hastily towards the Ararat plain. Roofs crumbled, trees fell, and belongings were looted. Large farms went up in flames, and lush plains were left barren and desolate, but the worst was yet to come. When Shah Abbas learned that Jalal Oghli had reached Nakhjavan, he ordered the Margaryans to immediately cross the Aras River. Large and small boats were built for the purpose, but the sheer number of crowd and the shortness of time made a safe passage an impossible task. So people were pushed into the river at the mercy of the current. Hesitation was fatal, and naked blades awaited the doubtful. Hence, those who could hurried on board the boats, and the rest were forced to brave the waters. After passing the difficult mountains, the king ordered the beaten and desperate people to settle in Tarum, Khalkhal, Ahar, and Meshkan for winter, but already many young and old and either drowned in merciless waters or succumbed to the challenges of harsh mountain path. It was hard to forget all these sufferings, but the survivors had no choice except to hope for a brighter future. As soon as warmer days of spring arrived, word reached quarters to move the Margaryans towards Isfahan. 7 years after their expulsion from their lands and on Shawwal 1014 Hijra, Shah Abbas issued a decree by which a portion of the royal properties in the south of Zayanderud were allotted to Armenian immigrants for settlement. Thus, a new Julfa was born in Isfahan to keep the memory of a lost homeland alive. And so churches were constructed soon after to make the new people feel more at home. A total of 24 churches were built by the Armenians, but now there are only 13 to be found in different neighborhoods of Julfa. The most important is a monastery called Amena-Perkich, meaning the Savior, or the Vank Cathedral. It may well be a reminder of another Savior in the old Armenia, whose spirit has resurrected here once again. The Vank Cathedral was a training center for priests and bishops. Its construction dates back to 1606, the year Armenians settled in Julfa, but the original church was small and humble in size, so in the year 1655 Archbishop David, whose leadership coincided with the reign of Shah Abbas II, ordered its reconstruction, and it was then transformed into a magnificent cathedral. The construction works went on for 9 years and were finally completed in 1664. Although some alterations are still made from time to time, like the recent addition of a library and a museum, but now and after so many years, the Vank Cathedral has gained world fame as a sacred place, museum and library housing many valuable Armenian artifacts. The architecture and decorations of the cathedral are an extraordinary and unique combination of Iranian and European designs. Its dome resembles the ones found in the genuine Iranian Islamic mosques as well as the Christian holy places. Frescoes, colors, oil paintings, golden tiles, and the play of light and shadows during the day offer the most innovative and beautiful scenes. The high altar is smaller in comparison with other churches. It displays the resurrection of Christ and bears the date 1109. The decorative tiles and the stones surround the altar. The cathedral's walls, however, are decorated with religious frescoes, floral designs, and gilded decorations. There are 8 windows around the dome with paintings in between. These are the works of Safavid era artists and reflect the particular thoughts and tenets of Armenian people. Although greatly influenced by their Italian and Dutch counterparts, the genius style of Minos, the master and mentor of Reza Abbasi, the famed Safavid painter, as well as the skills of Archbishop Bophanes and Father Stepanos, have created a lasting tribute to human happiness and anguish. Despite all appearances, a glance at all the hidden angles reveals searching and sorrowful expressions on seemingly frozen faces that speak of deep sense of solitude in a strange land away from home. One can sense the purified, but still restless spirits of past people wandering to and fro under the high ceiling. When the cathedral ceiling gets painted in Iranian style and the walls combined with pictures and images of Christian tradition, it is naturally the result of the combination of a host and a new culture. But here, there are no disharmony. One readily accepts the simultaneous display of the two architectural and decorative styles which have emerged together to become elegantly inseparable. A pure and simple alliance. The Church of Bethlehem was built in 1628 through the efforts of Haji Petrus. It is larger and more magnificent than any church in Jordan. Standing quite unsupported, its double-layered dome is higher than any other. In addition to these architectural features, the paintings in this church are much more refined than the ones seen in Van Cathedral. This may be due to the fact that they were drawn 14 years later and so had the benefits of this experience as well. Here, the images around the dome, placed once again in between the 8 windows and the paintings behind the core, are much richer in details than any other work. There are ample examples of such duality and peaceful harmony among the different images in the Church of Bethlehem. The chapel ceiling is gilded. In its altar, which appears minuscule in the great space of the church, there are 12 picture frames as a symbol of the 12 apostles. However, here the scenes are different. the torch of St. George's, Jonah being thrown at sea, or even the images of apocalypse. The altar's arch, painted in blue with golden floral arabesques that inspire peace, as if they could remove all anxieties and tensions to make way for tranquility. Only two paintings behind the core stand are the works of amateurs. The rest were clearly drawn by meticulous and skillful hands. For this reason, they deserve a better scrutiny to discover the genius strokes of Master Minas and the particular styles of Masters Mardius and Astawatsadu. These images resemble closely those in Vange Cathedral. Despite appearing somewhat crude and primitive at first, they reveal a gentle sincerity and passion that are the results of religious aspirations. This magnificent church was once threatened with closure, as it no longer had any parishioners and its doors were kept closed. Only in summers and to escape the dry, hot air, the priests of St. Mary Church conduct religious ceremonies there. The northern arch is cracked and the church displays clearly proofs of wearing. Only half of St. Katerina Church possesses religious paintings. Its ceiling is decorated in floral patterns, but they are not very attractive, and the image in the altar depicts the scene of crucifixion. The dome of St. Katerina Church, which is often called the convent, is located in the central axis of the construction. There are no traces of the building's history. There are no special stands for women and commoners either, because this building is not a public church. This is where nuns were trained for hardship and years of solitude. According to the few documents available, this convent was built in the year 1623 by Haji Yeryazar. It is older than the Church of Bethlehem. The nunnery was deliberately constructed in a severe and rough style to be devoid of any worldly attractions and beauties. In the east, north, and south wings of the church, there are 33 quarters for the nuns. They are humble and small in size, to the extent that a tall person is forced to bend down to avoid hurting his head. The doorways are also small and the passages are quite narrow. These may be intentional, as they are symbols of the last journey or the human loneliness in grave. The little torchbearer gets up in the middle of the night and beats the plank to summon the nuns to the church. They gather in pairs in front of the altar and reciting the gospel until the first rays of the sun appear behind the mountain tops. According to one legend, 3 nuns called Evesena, Takovi, and Hiripsime migrated to Iran along with other Armenians. The Saint Katerina Church was once repaired in 1842, and a large hall was annexed for entertaining guests. Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops. The date the Hufanes Megaradic church was constructed is mentioned in an old and worn-out parchment. It was first dedicated to Saint Mary, but after a popular legend was associated with it, it is now called the Saint John the Baptist Church. It appears that works on this church began during the reign of Shah Abbas in 1621, and so it has a special meaning for the Armenian people. All the scripts and mementos, like the inscription on the west entrance of the church and the writings on the cross behind the choir stand, are written in a pleading tone as if seeking pardon for a guilty conscience. He saved me when I have fallen, for He is the Lord who riseth the fallen. As proven by documents, the artifacts and the scripts kept in the church are not related to the first construction works. One inscription presents a history of the painting in the altar, while another is the commemoration plate on the ladies' balcony built in the year 1693, or even the writings above the entrance, which reveals the date of the door and the threshold's construction. Each of the church's elements was built gradually and has its own particular history. The summer chapel is located in the south of this monument. It was constructed in 1774 with the name of its founder engraved on top. However, this name was erased in 1847 following minor repairs. Julfa beckons us with its people. Alleys and its many churches. It calls us to reach the infinite limits of 1,000 years' dream. This is our sky, which once covered the land of Armenia with its brilliant stars. Our fortune had still not invaded their peaceful abode. It is a long time since my lucky stars shine over this land, here in Isfahan's Jolfa, with its people, alleys, and its many churches. It dies a little in love, but resurrects once again. You cannot hear the rolling thunder here. The clouds have no rain. Velvets and filigrees are flying. Satin-covered trays and bronze and moon packs are alight. High above St. George's roof, where bells ring and the trembling face of a woman appears. A woman who holds all the beauties of the world for an eternity.